Pain and joy. Ooh, this is gonna be deep. Pain and joy. So my younger years was definitely filled with a lot of pain, and I didn't know how to maneuver around the pain because no one taught me that. In my family, pain was something that you swept under the rug. We didn't address problems, we didn't find solutions for it, and so I really just masked the pain with anger. So for me, when I think of pain, I think of anger, I think of hate, I think of just being in a place where I want to do harm to other people and myself. And so I worked very hard to eliminate pain, and I've built a lot of walls that I now have to work on bringing down, and those walls were built up to avoid pain and to not be in that space, because it's very scary for me. And it's very hard for me to deal with pain because I've never learned how to really deal with it properly. But if we didn't have pain, then we wouldn't know what joy is. So what the positive side of understanding what pain is I also know how to be joyous, and I know how to accept joy in my life. So when I'm with my friends, I know how to have fun, I know how to laugh and turn up and crack jokes because I know the opposite side of feeling alone and not being able to do that. When I'm in romantic relationships, I know how to be loving and happy and have fun and turn up with the person that I'm with because I know what it's like to feel pain from relationships. And even with my family, I've learned how to have joy with my family. How do we have fun? Even the play fights and the play arguing that we do, because that's the type of family we are, I learned to enjoy those moments and to have joy in that aspect of it because, once again, the opposite of the pain that I felt for so long from my family is just something that I don't want to experience. For me, moving forward, I'm still working on how do you deal with pain? How do you bring those walls down so that you don't feel pain? I think the biggest thing is not being scared of it. Understanding that pain isn't always bad. A lot of joy comes from pain. A lot of lessons are learned through pain. And so I'm not fearful of pain anymore, and I understand that it may happen, and I'm just going to continue learning how to deal with it and work with it.
Pain and joy, I feel, are not mutually exclusive. True joy is something that I'm still trying to figure out what that exactly entails, but I'm living in it right now, and it makes me really excited. There was a time in which I thought that in order to experience joy, you had to go through pain and hurt. And then there was another time in which I found release and some form of weird happiness through pain. But I realized that you don't have to experience joy that way. Joy, you can find joy in sometimes the stupidest, silliest things. When I was a kid, I would slide down the steps on like a sleeping bag, and it was the same as sledding or something. So joy is something that you can find in little moments with yourself and others. And pain is an inevitability of life that you'll experience from time to time. And what makes it manageable and what makes it something that you get through is by just having those little moments to really smile at yourself for.
Pain. Okay, so the interesting thing about pain is that it can make its way into our world through different vehicles. It could be actual physical pain that you may feel in your body. It could be emotional. It could be mental. It could be just something you witness. And the interesting thing about pain is that it usually creates roots in ourselves that, even if it was something that you saw, for example, say you went through a really traumatic experience, and that wounding generates some sort of pain, a painful memory. It may have a pain in your body. Sometimes when we lose people and we're going through grief, the pain of emotion and disconnect via that loss gets rooted. And the interesting thing is that it's not necessarily the same situation that will bring up the pain. I can think about in times of loss, like you hear a song or you smell a smell, and then that triggers like this painful memory. And just with any wound, if you fell down and you skinned your knee, you want to make sure that the wound gets cleaned. You want to make sure the wound gets taken care of. You want to make sure the wound gets bandaged up. and that it has the correct conditions for healing. So is the truth for pain. So emotional, mental, physical pain, those wounds need to be cleaned up. Those wounds need to be bandaged. Those wounds need to be taken care of so that they can heal. And I think the hardest part of pain at times is even acknowledging that actually, you know what, I'm in pain. To really acknowledge and say, you know what, this particular situation, this particular person, this particular event has actually hurt me. And because of it, I now have to treat it. And people choose to treat their pain in different ways. You can choose to, seek professional help. You can choose to drink. Some people turn to drugs and alcohol to help, alleviate the pain. But choosing wisely about how you choose to mend your pain, I believe, is the difference between the pain persisting and evolving into other areas of your life or into greater pain. Because the pain can either be on its way to healing or the pain can be on its way to taking root. And as people who are responsible for our own lives, I know I've taken, great measure to do work on myself, whether it is my own emotional well-being, taking care of myself by seeing my doctor. I do drink every now and then, but not to the point of inebriation where my body is now going to have to pay the price because of hanging out for one night. So considering how you manage and take care of your pain is all the difference, again, between it healing and it taking root. On the other side of pain is joy. And joy is, the butterflies in the stomach that make you want to smile more and laugh more, have bright eyes and connection and eye contact with people and hugs and the opportunity to really, bring light and be light, for the world that you share with other people. And while pain sometimes is a trigger from other situations, so can joy also be. And it's a choice, right? You could choose to be joyful. You could choose to, be that light in the room that when you walk in, people are like, she's here, right? You want to be that source when people see you. It's like, wow, I believe in possibility. I believe in hope. I believe in the extraordinary. I believe that I could smile through this situation and maintain your joy. As a leader, I often used to make the joke about no one takes my joy. And the reason why I used to say that all the time was because I felt like there were so many opportunities where people were going to come and snatch my joy. And that's a choice, right? If you wake up on the right side of the bed and you go into work and something happens that is contrary and you allow that to shift your spirit and take away your joy, that's a choice. You just come off vacation and you had an amazing time and the sun was you were soaking in the sun, you get your nice tan going, you had a great time, and then you come back to work on that Monday and the pile of papers are waiting on your desk. You could choose to be like, you know what, I just have the privilege of being on vacation and now I get to work and I plan another vacation, or you can get bogged down by the pile of papers. It's all a choice. And living in that space, sometimes you have to fake it until you feel it. So it's smiling, it's connecting with people, it's, offering a hug, offering a handshake that's a meaningful one. It's really being able to be light, especially in spaces of darkness, because where there is light, darkness cannot persist.
Well, I spend most of my time in joy, but without painful moments, you don't really understand the joy that you get out of them or that you receive. I believe that you must have something that has caused a shift in your world so that you can actually enjoy the experiences that you have on this planet that actually bring you joy. So for me, my joy is reading and relaxing and having fun. And so understanding the pain that I've had throughout the years allows me to, like, when I have downtime, to actually spend more time enjoying those downtimes.
A friend of mine once said that because I write poetry as well, and they said that when you write, you should write from your scars and not your wounds. So when dealing with pain, you have to also realize and recognize the fact that there's also a healing process that comes after that. And what you do with that healing process can bring you joy, but also fulfillment with regards to having the wisdom and wealth of knowledge to move past the experience, to grow from an experience that a lot of people otherwise don't have the fortune of dealing with. So when you think of something that pains you, think of it as an experience that you've dealt with that could be a lesson for you and for others in the future to build from. So it's not always a negative thing.